Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 300 of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. Check out their website for the latest deals and packages on Disney travel, including Walt Disney World and Disneyland. We're talking about both of those today, actually.
And Universal Studios on both coasts.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting there's so much to talk about this week, and there's so much more coming, like the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival, and I'm so looking forward to that.
So be sure to check out MEI Travel for this and much more.
Right, they can book you anywhere. So where we're heading now, though, is Disney's Animal Kingdom Park. I had gone to Epcot because Sunday it rained, so I'm like, okay, yay, Monday is an Epcot day. And I got in to Epcot, and within 1 minute, I found out online that Kevin, the bird from Up, was meeting at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and I'm like, okay, well,
gotta go.
So I stayed at Epcot for about 15 minutes and then finally headed out.
But it was worth it. Look at this. Look at how awesome Kevin is here. Unbelievable.
She was really fun, and Jeff didn't make it over. I was like, do you want me to come pick you up? And you were like, no.
I have
okay.
total faith in your video skills. And look at this. You did an excellent job of following Kevin around and seeing all her interactions and things.
Well, I was really surprised that I found her as quickly as I did. I guess she must have just come out onto Discovery Island, and then she went here to Asia, where the Up Bird Show is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have seen Kevin before. We have seen her at Disneyland. She was in
Pixar Play Parade.
Right. She was in that last year. We have a video of it. And Russell actually was on top of her. And now she doesn't have to carry anybody around. She can just...
Much freer. I love the noises. We'll link to this at the end of the show. And just the noises that she makes are fantastic. And there's different noises for different things, too.
Right. She was really fun. And if you want to... I don't want to say meet her, but she isn't a typical meet and greet. She does roam. However, you can go up while she's moving around, and every time she stops, you can kind of go up there and take a picture. I mean, I don't think it's that hard to get a picture, as long as you don't have too many other guests who want to do the same.
Right, and you'll see these wilderness explorer dressed helpers
members
there, and if you ask one of them, I'm sure they can sort of arrange for her to stop for a second.
Well, while I was walking, and I walked near her for probably 20 minutes, they would tell guests that she isn't stopped yet, but she will eventually stop, and just essentially to kind of follow along with her.
Anyway, it is a real. Oh, this is great when the guy offers her some Coke from some soda,
and,
she listens to it. No soda for her.
And then she came over to me actually for a second.
Oh, my favorite part's coming up. You got her when she was leaving she had to go take a break backstage, and she's so tall, her neck is so high. Even when she goes behind the stage, you'll still see her.
This actually ended up being my favorite clip, but it almost didn't happen. After a while, you're like, okay, I think I've got enough, and I don't want to keep following her around. But I was sitting over there, and then she came over, and so I started filming, and that was actually my favorite clip of the whole time.
And it's nice because there's no specific place. You actually have to explore Disney's Animal Kingdom to find her.
Well, there is sort of an actual place between Discovery Island and Asia. I don't think she's going to go into Dino Land. I thought she was going to go in at one point, but she stopped and then turned around.
I love this part.
And there was a little bit at the end that I didn't end up getting because I'm like, oh, I guess it's done. But that was
great job. Awesome. I'm
really
so glad you were able to. If you had to get me, it would have been later in the day, and it was good that you did a great job. And now we're over here at the Magic Kingdom, and it is limited time magic, and I see Prince John and Friar Tuck.
So, okay. This limited time magic is now several weeks old. I'm not even sure if that's officially what it's called, but that's what we're calling it. And every day there's been a different set of characters, and they've met on the same day for several weeks. But now that has changed.
Right. This week they seem to be changing who is meeting on what day. So we'll have to see. By the end of the week, we'll have figured it out, at least for the next few weeks.
Well, and the thing is, you don't really even know if it's for the next few weeks or if they'll eventually bring in other characters. So really, at this point, I just consider it a surprise. Whoever's going to be at the Magic Kingdom will be at the Magic Kingdom. But on this day, everybody knew who was going to be there. Friar Tuck and Prince John, who's sucking his thumb there. And it was really cool because a bunch of people brought gifts, and I'm like, I don't
I
have
felt
any
bad
gifts.
we didn't have gifts.
Then somebody brought artwork.
We had to follow two different groups, so that gave them a whole chest full of gifts and pictures, and all of a sudden it's us, and we're like, we're sorry, we don't have any gifts.
And I thought the really cool thing is the whole line was really cool with that. People bring gifts and taking a little extra time, and they're like somebody near me or a little bit ahead in line said, "Oh, this was a great day to come.
Yeah.
I'm glad I came today."
It was highly entertaining.
Where in some instances, people waiting for characters might not want to wait longer as, gifts are brought or whatever. So I just thought that was really nice. And
Well,
it
2
was
weeks
really
in a
fun.
row. Remember last week we had the dog that made an appearance? So that was very nice too. Remember the dog met with Remy and Emile?
There was a service dog it was a service dog who met with Remy and Emile, and that was really fun.
So anyway, now we're going to go over to Space Mountain. There has been a change in Space Mountain in the queue, the exit queue.
In the last couple months.
Yes, in the last few months, but it's totally new to you and to me. I've heard about it, but I hadn't seen it. So, and it gave us a good excuse to go and ride Space Mountain because we haven't ridden it in a while.
Well, it was on the app as being available, which is why I took it, but I didn't realize that there were as many changes. I knew there were some changes, but for whatever reason, you live here and there's so many things going on all the time.
Take note of the very futuristic balls down there that you could not jump into.
That I knew about. Somehow I knew about that, but not about, is it called the speed ramp disappearing?
The speed ramp.
Which is
much slower.
Very disappointing for me because that was like my childhood.
Well, this is the real speed ramp because on the way onto the ride, you took off like a rocket. Before I knew it, you were all the way inside. That's the real speed ramp.
There I am.
See how quick? Look at how quick.
I didn't take off. You were stopping to get video, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm waiting. I figured I'd wait for you when I got, kind of up there, but you already
I'm just
arrived.
joking. I'm just giving you a hard time. But here it is, Space Mountain. It was so good to finally ride it again, and I was really excited because I wanted to see what was coming after the ride. I had heard that they had changed it up, so I was looking forward to this.
Well, I didn't. Again, I mean, even though we talk about Disney all the time, if you don't go into an attraction yourself, and I don't ride Space Mountain too often, I think it's been probably 4 or 5 months at this point, you don't really always know exactly what's going on.
So there's where the speed ramp used to be, but you can see it is just now a walkway. There are slight benefits though, because now you can stop and photograph and really take a look at all the props there. And there's the Mesa Verde, a little homage to the Horizons attraction at Epcot. But my favorite little thing is coming up in this area, and this will definitely be a lot easier to see now that we aren't moving. And it's really you have to kind of zoom in, and we're going to do that in a second. But there are letters which are actually code for you're going to have open sectors and closed sectors. Open sectors being attractions at the Magic Kingdom that are still open. Fantasyland FL and the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. That's an example. And closed sectors FL Fantasyland, and the first one is 20,000 Leagues, 20K, and you see a bunch more.
And Jeff wanted to make a contest out of this, so if you can send me all of the correct answers at denise@mousesteps.com by February 21st, 2019, midnight EST, then we will draw at least one or two names to win a small prize pack, and we will announce it on a upcoming show.
So good luck to everyone, and when we do announce the winner, we'll also show the slides and all the codes, and we'll give all the correct answers in case anybody has trouble figuring them out.
And now we are heading up what used to be the speed ramp. And when I go this way, I would be so excited because you get on the ramp, and now we're about to get to the TV area. This part is not so exciting for me, but the part where you have the TVs, and when I was younger, you would have the John Travolta dancing and all that going on. I always enjoyed that.
Well, at the very end, right before you went upwards, there would be a robot, and he would have, over the years, he would have a big giant video camera, and it would be pointed out at all the guests going by on the speed ramp, and then as you were going up, you'd look over and you'd see yourself on the TV. So I think that's what you miss the most.
Well, just the whole speed ramp, if that's what you call it, and yeah, the
robot butler. You still have a robot butler.
But just, like when I was a kid, again, the dancing with John Travolta overhead and everything, anytime I would come through here, I would be reminded of that. And, the TVs were just a product of what I was used to. And really, I've been riding Space Mountain since I was, 11 or 12. So almost over 40 years is how long I've been riding Space Mountain.
Or remember there used to be a dog in there when RCA was the
Yes,
sponsor?
I remember that.
So that was really cool. So there was a lot of things over the years. Laser discs. The first time you ever saw a laser disc was going through here in the early 80s.
But now this sort of reminds me of Soarin' as you're, you're exiting the attraction and you're just going up a ramp. So that's what it reminds me of now.
And while we're looking at this, the last time I had ridden Space Mountain, it was during the Halloween party when everything was pitch dark and they had a different exit where you actually had to walk out the back of Space Mountain, walk around it, go over the train tracks while they were doing all this stuff. So now, because the trains aren't running because they're building Tron and everything, it's good now. You actually have the fully completed exit here, right into the gift shop, of course.
And I mean, Tron is just one of the few attractions that Disney is building right now, besides Star Wars Land, where they're also building Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot, and then they're building Ratatouille at Epcot. So really, in a few years, there's going to be so many new attractions.
That's right. And here we are into the gift shop. Not really changed very much since the, all this happened with the exit, although you can still buy in the back there. You can get your on-demand phone cases. That's new in the last few years.
I haven't done that, but I never did the pitch black either. The pitch black, what you did at the Halloween party, and I'm not sure why I didn't. We went to 2 or 3 Halloween
because
parties.
We were so busy, and by the time we got to it, it was at the end of the night, and you didn't think you would make it to it. I had to run very fast. I got there like a minute before the party ended.
I remember, I think we were at Stitch or something. The Stitch is to meet him, and then you probably went over.
So as we're looking at Miguel here at Disneyland Paris, we're going to talk about a really cool announcement coming up for Epcot.
Right, and so Miguel will be appearing at Epcot, at least during the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival. I don't know if it will be past that, but starting March 6th, we're going to see this Miguel puppet. I don't know if it's exactly this one. There's one that was also a Disney California Adventure, and he will be performing with probably a puppeteer, and then Mariachi Cobre, and I think a couple of other performers. So it should be a really wonderful addition for a performance.
Yeah, this was truly magical in person, and I would get down to his level and kind of interact with him, and it was very, very lifelike, very awesome. I'm seeing there's me shaking his hand, and there's you, and you get to pose with him, and he really comes alive. So I think that's awesome that we're having him at Epcot.
Well, I don't know if it will be a meet and greet like at Disneyland Paris. So Disney California Adventure had it was really a performance, and it was not a meet and greet at all, where really that's what it was at Disneyland Paris, was guests could come up and meet Miguel as the puppeteer was doing small performances. So I think maybe Epcot will be sort of in between, and hopefully guests will be able to pose with Miguel, and that should be it should be really nice.
And now that you mention it, when we were here for this, the mariachis did interact with Miguel, so it's not completely different. And here he is, and he is heading off. So anyway, very, very excited for that. And speaking of excited, this is something Lunar New Year, something very popular on the West Coast that is not really talked about too much here on the East Coast.
So we're going to talk about Disney California Adventure first. A friend of ours who is really a reporter when we need something out in California was over at Disney California Adventure a day or two ago, and sent us this, and I thought that was really fun.
I love it. Look at this, the 3 little pigs all in their special outfits for Lunar New Year. Very, very nice. You have Chip and Dale, you had Goofy, and you even had Mushu with Mulan leading the procession.
Well, it's called Mulan's Lunar New Year Procession, and this runs through February 17th, and this is not the only event that happens during Lunar New Year, but they also have meet and greets and such. This is kind of the big spectacle, though, and it really is incredible. And then they go down to Paradise Park, and it's like a show, which is really just part of the whole Lunar New Year procession.
Yeah, and we're going to show a little bit of that show, and here they are. They're all over there at the park.
And being that it's the year of the pig, the 3 little pigs got Chinese New Year outfits this year. They didn't end up being a meet and greet, that would have been really fun. And maybe next year, who knows, maybe they will be. Mickey and Minnie were a meet and greet. I'm not sure about anybody else. But you see Mulan, Mushu, and then you have Goofy has his outfit, and then Chip and Dale have their outfits, and they're just adorable.
And it's a really impressive show. I mean, look at how many different performers are out there. I see a big gong in the back there, and it's really great. And we'll, of course, link this to the show notes. And thanks again to our friend, for surprising us with this, because this is so much fun.
And I believe this is shown several times per day. So you can, if you are able to make it out to Disney California Adventure by the 17th, which is just a few more days.
And also, Universal Studios Hollywood celebrates Lunar New Year.
And this one will be through just the 18th. And again, our friend who does events for us, we were invited to Universal Studios, and he's showing just one of the events that you can take part in.
That's right. And I see we have, is this Poe back there teaching you his Kung Fu?
Right. This is a Dragon Warriors Kung Fu training show. And then also Poe and Tigress meet. And so they are not the only meet and greet characters.
Oh, Mr. Ping. I love Mr. Ping.
And I've never eaten here. It's like there's like a Mr. Ping's noodles, right? I mean, you can actually buy food. Not from him, probably. So
that would be the best if you could buy it from him.
Somewhere in this area,
great.
You can actually buy food. But anyway, you have the Year of the Pig, and they have all kinds of decorations, and we'll see a bunch of different character meet and greets.
And learn to draw.
Yes.
Here we have an artist. I am so jealous. Why do we have no Lunar New Year on the East Coast?
But that was DreamWorks artists who were teaching. So you have Beetlejuice here, and Beetlejuice actually he interacted with the Transformer.
That's right. And all of the characters are talking about Lunar New Year. So it's pretty good. I mean, what a great event.
And this is where the minions meet, and we'll see them. But here goes
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob had nothing to say.
Yeah, he didn't have anything to say.
Trolls!
We're gonna see a little bit more explosive trolls action coming up very soon.
But not on that coast. So here are this is where the minions meet, and I think there's a couple of different minions who wear their Chinese Lunar New Year outfits, and then Marilyn Monroe stopped by. She is not in a special costume, but this area is really big for character meet and greet. So you have the ones like the minions who are wearing their outfits, but then you have the regular meet and greet characters like Scooby-Doo and other ones. And the minions,
I would have loved it.
Yes, the minions actually are regular meet and greet characters here. Universal Hollywood is all about the characters. They have so many.
I love Universal characters are so much fun and really not that hard to meet. It doesn't seem like people go crazy and have as long lines as we're used to.
You're not waiting for hours for characters there. So this is the Megatron who speaks Mandarin, and this is very funny.
I saw Beetlejuice were running by.
That was a really funny one, but the Megatron speaks Mandarin so during this time, and it really is quite interesting. And I think this is at least the third year he's been doing this, and it could be more.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved this too, and somebody translated it, so we will again.
Did they?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
So we'll link to this on the show notes, and if you look in the comments, you'll see a translation of what he's saying. It's really.
You didn't
funny.
even tell me that, so I'm going to have to look at that.
You will enjoy that. And I think we're about to see Hello Kitty.
Yes, Hello Kitty has a special Lunar New Year outfit, and I don't know if this is new this year. I read that this might be new, but she looks adorable. She's outside her store. Hello Kitty meets at Universal Hollywood and Universal Orlando, although not in a Lunar New Year outfit here.
So we're about to see Shrek and Fiona, and it's the Fiona, not the ogre Fiona, but the princess version, and she's talking all about their new neighbors, all the Lunar New Year friends.
This is one of my favorite clips. She was really good at this. And they have their Lunar New Year next door.
What a time! What a time to be alive! Never happier to be alive and living here than this. You are seeing the trolls, but a very special troll is about to make an appearance here.
Well, Guy Diamond has been a little controversial here, but very, very popular at the park with families. Guy Diamond, you can use the word, like there are certain words I never thought I'd use on my site, and he he passes glitter gas, and he is one of the trolls. And Poppy and Branch.
Glitter gas.
Glitter gas.
I don't think there's gas involved.
I don't know how to say it.
I think I call
you
it.
Can say it
yes,
however
he is
you want
a glitter farting troll. Never better. Look at this. This is entertainment at its finest. We're both in our 50s, and we rope dropped Universal first in line just to see
like
this.
He really wanted to see.
This is entertainment at its finest.
And this is what we went to do one morning. And he's with Poppy and Branch, who are really popular trolls too. But Guy Diamond has really
look at this. What dancing?
This particular having him. Oh gosh, having him here has made this area even more popular. He's only on weekends right now. That could change anytime.
So here we are. We are actually first in line, as I mentioned, and now we're going to get a chance to meet them all ourselves, up close and personal.
And we had gotten in line before 10 a.m. This area doesn't actually even open till 10 a.m. ET opened at that time, and maybe at other days it could open a little bit earlier, but at 10 a.m. we were there a little bit beforehand, but they had been telling everybody
9:30. Yeah, we got there at 9:30, and they let us wait in line for the trolls, but you couldn't go any further than that to where the ETQ is.
Yeah, they were just telling guests to, go elsewhere. So it was nice that we were able to wait for them. There wasn't really a need to wait for them.
Right, we didn't know. We're so used to Disney where you have to get everywhere, many, yes, much earlier.
But you can't get there earlier for the other meet and greets.
Look at this. Now, there is the glitter that is left from Mr. Diamond there. And, after they leave, they have a maintenance guy come out, and he has to sweep up that glitter. And when he was doing it, he looked at me and he goes, showbiz. It was really funny.
I don't understand using a broom because the glitter would probably get in the broom bristles.
Should have had a Zamboni, maybe.
No,
nice troll Zamboni.
No, a dustbuster or something. Just something to kind of get that really quick.
And here is the grand finale. They only, Guy only does his little routine twice right here at the end, so to speak, as he's walking out and as they make their grand appearance. So anyway, that was really fun. We had a good time at Universal. Of course, we had to stop at Voodoo Donuts on the way out and have some yummy donuts, and we'll say goodbye to the rest of the trolls.
Voodoo Donuts is fantastic. So if you ever go over there to Universal to see Guy Diamond or any other reason, I recommend it.
What a complete change now. We're going to do the return of the vintage segment. This is something I shot in 1996. It is Alien Encounter. Not that much after it opened. It opened in 1995, so it was about a year or less since it had opened, and this is the pre-show. I think you're going to see Chairman Clench in a moment.
I mean, video has changed quite a bit since then. And I was going to say, we just watched a movie last night, the documentary with Jane Goodall, and that's film, and it looked like brand new still.
Well, this is 22 years ago, and
right.
As you know, video was very much different back then.
And Alien Encounter opened in 1995 and closed in 2003, of course. Changing to, what is it, Stitches something.
Great Escape.
Yeah, that's
before this area originally opened as Mission to the Moon, and then it was Mission to Mars, and then it was very much a big deal when it changed over to this. It was sort of the first ever PG attraction, and when it first opened, I know Michael Eisner didn't like the pre-show, the one with Skippy, with the Sir, although I don't think they called him Sir at that one, so they redid it and made it a little bit later. But there's Skippy, and Skippy was always my favorite part. He was a lot of fun.
Do you not think like Captain EO was almost...
Yeah, Captain EO was also sort of a PG.
Mm-hmm. But this one actually freaked me out. I didn't like Alien Encounter, and the first time I was on it, I remember I was sitting next to an adult I was with, but then there was a little kid who was scared and wanted to sit next to their mom, so I moved so that the kid, wouldn't be so scared. And then I was the one who freaked out. It really scared me.
Did you like at least this part, the pre-show with the cute Skippy, although he does get burned a little bit?
No, it was sad. So no, I didn't really. I thought Skippy was cute, but it was sad.
Well, they tried to teleport him, but it didn't work so well, and that's a precursor for what happens on the ride. One thing about the ride that a lot of people that I know didn't really care for is when you sat down, you had these things kind of come around your head, and it really kept you in place, so people didn't like that they couldn't leave.
I didn't like that either. I mean, it really came down, and I wasn't ready for it, so it clamped down, and you couldn't move. I think later they changed that because
they did.
You could move it up and down better.
At that point, you can put it up at any point. during the whole run, all you had to do is push it up and get up and leave, but people didn't know that.
I didn't know that, and it wasn't even just about leaving. It was just about not feeling. I don't like to feel confined like that. So, I mean, there was nothing about this attraction that I liked.
See, and to me, I liked it. I thought it was really fun, but no one ever wanted to go on it with me, so I'd often ride it alone. But it was so different than anything else that was around. And there was, the best part about that whole thing is no chili dog. No chili, no any kind of foul air that you had to deal with. So that was a plus. And there's the monster right there. They were supposed to teleport Chairman Clench into this thing to see you in person, to demonstrate it. That was the idea. But instead, something goes wrong, and you get an alien from another planet, and it's supposed to be totally safe, but then the lights all go out. It is pitch dark. I mean, pitch dark. You can't see a thing. And this is before the days of cell phones and lighted things like that. So when I say it was dark, it was really, really dark. And then you would hear him go around. You would see the alien would not see, but you could feel him breathe, his hot breath on your neck, and all these loud, scary noises you could see. And sometimes you'd see, like, there's his tongue, and he's going to sort of attack the camera and then break the camera. So that was a bit of a scary moment there.
There's nothing redeemable for me on this. And I tried it
poor alien encounter.
I tried it 3 times. I gave it 3 chances. You know, even though I disliked it so much the first time, I thought, okay, well, we'll try it again. And then, I tried it again. And then I'm like, okay, that's it. I really can't do this. You know, it was everything I don't like. It was dark. It was loud. You know, the breathing, the noise, like there was just nothing that.
But it had a happy ending. They got rid of the alien. Everything was okay. And there goes the restraints there. Oh boy.
No.
Well, anyway, I am going to get around to editing this eventually and putting it up on our channel, so you'll have the full show from 1996, and at least you can experience it if you haven't. Anyway, that was the return of the vintage segment. I'm sorry that you didn't like the ride we talked about.
No, it wasn't a ride. It was a place where you were confined to. I don't even know what to say about it, but it wasn't a ride.
So anyway, it's 300 episodes. I can't believe we have sat down and done this 300 times already.
And Grace did this
she
drawing
did this,
for us for
yes,
number 200
episodes ago. So I changed the 2 to a 3, and there you go. We have an all new card to talk about.
And thanks again to Grace for that. And
yes, awesome job.
That's another show.
That is another show. Thanks to our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel.
Definitely check them out online. We have the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival just a few weeks away, and they're starting to prep that flower quilt already. So there will be a flower quilt in the next few days starting to come in. So we'll probably talk just a little bit about the festival. That starts on March 6th. And also, Jeff has told me to go see Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope.
I will be at Daytona. It is Daytona week, so I'll be at the races. So Denise is really going to be working hard here, going to Epcot and getting all kinds of great video. So we'll have something to talk about for next week.
Well, Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope are now at the Imagination Pavilion. I'm not even sure what else. You just never know on a day-to-day basis, so it's going to happen.
Maybe even some Topi areas will start sprouting out eventually.
I hope so. Usually by this time, this is around the time that they start popping up. But the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival is starting a little later this year instead of late February. It's starting on March 6th.
Right.
But both flower quilts, one of them is all dug up and is dirt, and so that means the flowers should be added anytime. And then the other one has little flags in it. So that one should be starting soon too.
So again, I can't believe it's been 300 shows already. I cannot wait for the next 300. And before you know it, we'll have 1,000 shows.
No, don't even say that. That's how many years away that is. To have 1,000 is a lot.
Oh, that's all right. I'm ready for the challenge.
No. I think we're looking at that's a lot of years.
Anyway, thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.